got my hero notes right here. I got the stolen notes from Jockey. Still can't get over blah blah blah. Future shopping inspires me.
You still tickled by that, huh?
Yes, I
I
actually
love
am.
it when you think something is funny because once you think something is funny, you never not think it's funny. Like once something catches your fancy, like that's it for you. You're done. I think that's very amusing.
What was that noise? Wait, what? Why did my tablet go off? Shoot, like, get music going. Okay. Well, for whatever reason, well, I blocked him, so he can't do much.
You blocked him? What?
Oh no, sorry. There's just been a lot of stuff going on Twitch lately with hate raids and stuff like that. There's these people going around like doing negative things to people on Twitch. There's somebody, there's a bot in here that is a part of that, and I just blocked him. I was trying to report it, but I can't report it because it doesn't have the category that he's involved in. Can't ban this guy though. Banned him.
Jesus.
All right.
A lot of control on your channel.
Hey everybody, welcome to a rather impromptu but
Hi,
necessarily
everybody.
welcome to an impromptu podcast, one that necessarily didn't need to happen today, but we're doing it regardless because we can.
Wait, you don't want to?
No, that's not that. Just
You
making
don't have to do it if you don't want to. I didn't realize that you didn't want to.
no, it's not that. Making a joke here, and you just you just popped the
I
bubble.
don't understand. This is all impromptu. We didn't plan any of this conversation out, so I don't really know what's going on.
We didn't plan the last conversations.
I suddenly found myself in a situation where you were telling everybody that you weren't interested in doing this, and I just wanted to make sure that wasn't the case. I think that's fair, if you think it's fair.
We're here to review one episode of My Hero Academia that just came out. And we're also going to review 2 episodes that we didn't review last week because I was the one who stopped us from doing that.
It's his fault. It's all his fault.
Yes, it's really my fault. I think because we didn't do My Hero with Charming King last week, we should probably start off with that, and then we can end off on My Hero because we have more to talk about in that regard.
Do you think that maybe since you've been so bad about your podcast schedule, you should include instructions on how to unsubscribe in this video?
No, because you can just unsubscribe immediately. Speaking actually of that, well, not unsubscribing, but
Do you want them to unsubscribe? Now it sounds like you want them to.
no, we apparently got another follower last month at some point.
A follower?
We're now sitting at 4 followers on the podcast.
Somebody's following us?
Don't make this weird. Please don't.
No, I just don't understand what's going on. How does this work? So they're like in my room right now or something? Or
Yes, they're right behind you, massaging your shoulders.
your shoulders. They're behind me massaging your shoulders.
No, your shoulders.
8 states away. Have you ever done one of these before? Is this your first podcast? I feel like it's your first one.
Gonna get a little bit of analytics out of the way. We got a new follower. We got more traffic in South America. We also have some traffic. I don't think we had traffic in India before, but now we do.
Mm-hmm.
Someplace in between Rasod and Washim. I think I butchered those names. Don't sue me. In some capital called Ahmedabad. I would say I thought we had a viewer in the river, and I was like, how are they doing that? There's a viewer by some place called Guwahati, which I don't know where that is, but I think it's in India as well. No, it's actually in Bangladesh. Never mind. I know my states. I know my countries.
I remember when we played Pandemic or whatever, and you didn't know where like Iceland was.
Shh. They don't need to know that. And now you told them. How dare you?
Didn't that go on a live stream anyway? Like, wasn't that?
No, I don't think I was live streaming that.
I think somebody was recording that.
I hope not. I just lost credibility on that one. Okay, moving on from this, because not much is new. We got like a lot of traffic in South America. Not much here in the States. Not much is changing.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. That means nobody here wants to listen to us blabber about anime, but people in other countries do.
Somehow that makes me happy. I think I like that we appeal to an international audience. I like international people more than people around here.
You hear that, people in Frankfurt? He likes you more than the people in Frankfurt.
I just feel like people overseas have taste. That's all.
You hear that, Frankfurt? Actually, hold up. Let me zoom another one. You hear that, Brussels? I'm just calling people out. We're immediately gonna start losing followers. But okay, enough of that. I think we're going to start with the Shaman King stuff because that was supposed to go on with the last episode, but we didn't do it because it was my fault. So that way, next podcast episode, which I think will be the last one, because I think we're going to go on a hiatus. Because life stuff happening with yeah, that literally is happening. You said the 13th to the 27th of this month. Jock is too busy to deal with this. Sorry, guys. We'll give him a minute.
Sorry about that. We're definitely.
I mean, next week is happening, but I said the 13th. You said the 13th and
the 10th through the 29th is when my friend's here.
Okay, so we are looking at one more podcast, which is next week. Which should happen on Monday. If it doesn't happen on Monday, we're probably not gonna do it that week.
I think we can do it Monday. I don't see why I wouldn't. It should be fine.
Monday or Sunday, depends. I had to watch the episode a lot sooner, but that doesn't matter because Monday is Labor Day, and I'm happy about it. Moving on.
You're happy about Labor Day?
I'm happy that I'm off that day. That's really all that counts to me right now at that moment. Nothing else matters. But with that, we're going to move on to Shaman King. It's episodes 13 and 14. We're using some notes by Mr. Jacques Burchard here that he posted, and they're going to use these. aka I'm going to steal them and take full credit. I'm just going to use your notes here. I watched the episodes. I'm going to go off what I remember, but not much. So it's probably not going to be much speculation because the anime is like up to episodes 20 now. So any speculation that we have is probably going to be immediately answered just because the episodes that probably have answered them have already aired. So I'm not sure how much we'll be talking about here, but I'm just going to talk about what you have here. Apparently in episode 13, I'm trying to remember what episode 13 was. Oh yeah, when they dropped from the plane. Because if I remember correctly, in episode 12, they were on the plane going to the next location to where the shaman fight was going to be. Apparently it's going to be in the US, something I didn't pick up on. So that's a thing. Because apparently the Patch Tribe was where the Patch Tribe location is going to be where the final tournament is happening, and apparently they're happening in America. So it looks like a couple more shamans are going to probably be of the Western variety, which isn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of shamans of the Western variety,
it makes sense that they're going to be in the U.S. because of the Native American motif of all the leaders of it.
I mean, it makes sense because I think they are Native American, based on the image that you have down here.
They're either Native American or they're like trying awfully hard to follow that motif. So I would imagine that.
I'm pretty sure they're Native American.
Yeah.
Because their location is in quote unquote the U.S. Or I don't even know what they called the Native Americans actually called this place back before they got colonized. We're not going to get into that debate. That we follow, like the episode starts out with him on the plane and how is pretty much going on his monologue. Apparently, people like How's already made his efforts, well, his motives known that he plans to turn the world into a shaman paradise, but only for strong shamans. He also makes his interest in Yo known as well, saying that he's important to him. I also want to bring up that Yo and How look very alike. It's like almost on purpose. They look extremely alike. I'm pretty sure it is on purpose because he looks like him. But that's interesting. Here on the notes you have here, Pot leaves on the bed sheets. Apparently, there's a smiley face. So that's meant.
When he was laying in bed, like if you look
that's a mint for me, clearly, because there's a smiley face on it. So he made some edits before he sent this to me.
I thought it was funny that like they show him in bed like trying to recover, and he's got like pot leaves all over the bed sheet. I just thought it was really cute.
He asked the question of why is this goodbye forever? I assumed it wasn't forever. But
they talk about it. They all say like it's forever.
Yeah, I know they say goodbye, and they make it seem like. Well, they're supposed to be. Whoever becomes a Shaman King is supposed to be going with this very big convergence with like the Spirit King. So I guess in a really weird way, whoever becomes Shaman King becomes a spirit. But then again, I wonder why they don't make mention of that, or maybe they don't. Maybe the contestants don't know, because they are just kids, and the people didn't try to tell them for a good reason. Maybe.
Hmm.
So maybe that could be it. I mean, I understand you're talking about, because I will say that he brought. After I read, I was like, hey, he's got a point. I actually don't know what happens after
It
become
doesn't
Shaman
make
King.
sense to me that like everybody would want to go do this, like, and not like discuss the severity of the fact that they're leaving forever at some point. You know what I mean? I know that it's part of it's the shaman's thing is just to like, um, be able to let go and stuff like that. But it just seems like
Well,
it's
Anna's whole thing is that she's supposed to become the wife of the shaman, so I don't understand why. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's probably something not being stated. I guess after that question, you have how the blah 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 future Shaman King fire spirit. I'm sorry.
I
It's
wanted to
even after
remind
a
myself
week.
if I saw how like what he was. He was just like it was just
Half,
like classic like twirling mustache villain like rant about how he's gonna take over the world and he had a fire spirit and like the fire spirit was the only thing that was interesting to me. It was just like I'm so powerful and I'm great and and then it's just like all right and I'm tuning him out.
I don't know. I don't
Waiting
know
for him to
why
stop.
this tickles me so much, but it does. It's ridiculous. It's just a one-liner because you
But
don't
it's
like
on
Hal that
point.
much.
It's on point. Like it's just like he's full of bull, and it's just like it's not particularly exciting or impressive.
You have Patch. Like the Patch is another name for the devil, which they do
Yeah,
get in
I
this
remember
episode.
that. I had a
They
tough time
spout.
finding anything on there, but like I know that I think that in New England, like Salem witch trials times, like they would refer to Patch as the devil. I had a tough time finding anything online to support that, but I have a really strong memory of learning that when I was in college as an English major that Patch was another name for the devil. So I wanted to throw that in there because I'm pretty sure that Patch is the devil. And
I
it was an
mean,
interesting.
Lila Rara of the Seminola. I think I pronounced that correctly. I probably didn't. I think the Seminola is supposed to be a different type of, like, a group of not Indians, sorry, excuse me, Native American tribe that um either don't exist or are very few descendants exist right now today.
The Patch tribe.
Notice Simi, you have a Lila Rara of the Seminola on here. I think the Seminola might be an actual
Isn't it?
tribe.
Yes.
I think they are, but I really don't know. I don't really know like that much about the Native Americans because not many tribes exist anymore. At least in the real life, anyway.
It's a place.
Oh, it's a place?
It's a historically black neighborhood in Florida. And
Excuse me?
That's what it's the first sentence on Wikipedia.
Okay, I'm literally looking this up now.
Okay. But it also doesn't it sort of sound like a Native American word? Like usually when something like that comes in, it's a Native American word.
Oh, and I type it in, I'm getting this really weird like wheat middling, but it's not the same word.
That was my problem when I searched patch and devil. It was just it thought I was trying to buy a patch, like like something you sew onto your shirt, and I couldn't get past that for like the more obscure thing. It was just so sure that I was trying to buy a patch that it wouldn't let me do any real research.
There's a place. Yeah, it's a neighborhood in Florida. I see that.
Yeah, it's apparently like a word that comes up in Florida a lot. So if there are Native Americans, they must have been centered in Florida because that seems to be where the word would have survived. I think they might have just made it up. I don't think they looked that deeply into things. Or it might be misspelled because I happen to... There is a Native American tribe that sounds like that, but I just can't remember the exact word.
Very historically black churches remain in the neighborhood along with several stores and cove, which was named after a local African American activist. This is apparently where Cuban exiles were.
Mm-hmm. I can't think of the one I'm thinking of. The best I can find online that's close to Seminole would be Seneca or maybe Shoshone, but or
Seminole Indians.
Seminole Indians.
Well, correction, remove the Indian. The Seminole are definitely people. There's an E where that A is.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought I was reading. The Seminole are Native American people originally from Florida. Oh.
So it's still Florida.
Today they live in Oklahoma and Florida, so there are some tribes still out there.
Yeah, and then I bet the other spelling of it is just a spelling variant, because I mean it's not like the Native Americans used our alphabet, so I bet it's just a spelling variant.
They live in Oklahoma and Florida and comprise 3 federally recognized tribes, so they're on the reservations then.
Mm-hmm.
The Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, that makes sense. The Seminole Tribe of Florida, the Miccosukee Tribe of Indians of Florida. They need to get rid of Indians in that sentence, but whatever. As well as independent groups, the Seminole people are emerged in the process of ethnogenesis. Oh, so they're common. I don't know why I thought they were like one of the tribes that disappeared, because there were a lot of tribes over here, and then a lot of them got killed.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they aren't one of the tribes that are rare or just gone in general. Okay. Well, I mean, with her Lilirara, where she was in a city. So like when they first ran up on her, she kind of came out of nowhere actually when they walked out of the hotel. But yeah, like Lilirara, it might have been Seminole or Seminole, whatever. You have also right here all the Patch tribe are named after elements of the periodic table of elements. That was something I didn't know.
Yeah, Goldva, Silva, Kalem, they're all different periodic tables of the elements items. Namari
What of these elements are giving us a view in their personality?
I bet it does, but I'm not sure what like chromium is going to tell me. You know, like what's your personality like if you're boron or magnesium? Like I don't know. Some of these I'll get, but some.
Well,
of
I
these
mean, magnesium, he's probably magnetic. I'm sorry. I know. That was a stretch.
That was very weak.
Silver, because that's what I'm trying to like. Let me look that up real quick and see if there's anything dealing with silver and personality types, maybe. Wow. Okay. Personality color silver. Let's see here. While you may not exhibit all the traits of a personality color, silver is listed here. Silver is your favorite color. You'll find yourself so in description. You also find you exhibit some of the negative traits, particularly when you're stressed. If your favorite color is silver, with a favorite color silver, you are intuitive and insightful and have a strong connection with a higher spiritual guidance. That kind of sounds like silver a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, silver depends on the mythology and everything else. Silver is all over the place, so...
You tend to be introspective, often preoccupied with your own world in your search for meaning and fulfillment. You sometimes isolate yourself from others as you reflect and ponder on the deeper questions. Okay, that's a little bit deeper than actually I think he is. That's actually, I mean, unless we find out later on that he's actually really deep, because they did make him the leader. They did make him the leader recently. So maybe that's a hint. He actually might be deeper than we think, but right now that's way deeper than Silver is right now. If you love Silver, you're imaginative and creative, particularly in expressing yourself with the written word. Making speeches, writing poetry, writing novels are three means of self-expression you are drawn to, allowing you to satisfy your need. That's way deeper than we need. With a personality kind of silver, you're open to trying new things, exploring any. This is really making me sad.
It's
I
making
was
you sad.
I was hoping that this was like I'm starting to the beginning was a little bit more like Sofa at first, but now we're getting into like they're making it seem like you're very inquisitive and very like you're not smart, but I guess basically resourceful and whatnot. Like you can like anything comes at your way, you'll be able to solve it. Not saying he can't do that, but like right now, based on what we now know of him, he doesn't seem all that deep, but that could easily change.
We'll see. It seems like the plot sometimes makes people deeper as they get a little more time to do so. The plot's been moving really fast right now.
That's true. But yeah, everybody here has a name. Maybe even some of the people here that we haven't even seen yet. I don't even think we've seen Crom yet. I think we've seen Nick Crom at some point. We haven't seen Magna. I think, where is he? There was somebody who was killed by I think, was it Radim? No. Was it Boron? I know somebody got killed. One of these guys got killed. It wasn't
sure.
Goldfa. It could have been Radim. Or was it Necrom that got killed? I don't even. Okay, maybe they'll say his name again later. If they don't, I have to go back and look that up. It's gonna bother me. But moving on from that, you have something here, the Song of Destruction, in quotation marks. I'm guessing there's something you want to talk about with that.
I can't remember now. Was it one of their abilities?
I don't really see that. I mean, the thing that follows this right here is Vision, same or similar Fire Spirit.
Yeah, I wish I'd put in. There was something they slipped in there about like an attack or something that was a Song of Destruction. I remember
I can
didn't
look
see
back
it
on the episode because it's episode third. Wait.
Wiki. I bet it's in there. Once I remember it, I'll be able to tell you. Hang on. They made this passing reference to it, and then I thought that was super relevant because it just seemed like. It seemed like they wouldn't just make that passing reference if it wasn't.
Laundry over, so I gotta do that real quick.
Patch is a Dark Warrior linked to the Song of Destruction. That's all I know from here. So there must have been they must have casually mentioned.
I wonder. I hate to type in Indian. I'll go to Native American folklore dealing with the patch.
Apparently, there's a lot of variations on the idea of the Song of Destruction. Because I'm seeing IMDb has a list of it. I remember that they passingly just kind of mentioned the Song of Destruction and they moved on, and it seemed like a hint drop to me. But now I don't remember where in the episode that it was, because when I took my notes, I reorganized them by concept sometimes, so I can't be sure exactly when they mention it, but they just drop a mention of the Song of Destruction, and I was like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that, but I don't remember what context.
Do you know what I mean? But I can't remember anymore.
I can't find any. I'm finding patches for Native Americans, but they're just
That's exactly it.
The typical.
A patch, and then they'll give you the actual thing.
I would order this, but I don't want a tomahawk flying at my window.
Oh my god.
Oh dear, I'm gonna so burn for that. Okay, I apologize. I apologize to everybody that I offended, because I know I offended just about every Native American tribe out there.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, moving on. Vision, same or similar Fire Spirit. I know you talking about the fire spirit, but I don't remember. Did he ever give him his name?
There was this fire spirit mentioned his vision, and I was trying to figure out if it was the same one or a similar one.
Oh, in the vision they had of Hal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was because Hal makes the says that he was reincarnated 500 years ago just to get that spirit. He reincarnated into the Patch tribe to get that spirit. He makes reference to say he wanted that spirit.
When I put 180,000 there, was I talking about years? After 180,000 years, he would be resurrected?
I have no idea. Hold up. How was it resurrection? Hopefully I don't see anything that peaks in my memory again. If I do, I won't say anything.
Yeah, after 180,000 moons, so after 180,000 days, they'll be resurrected.
Is that 500 years?
Let's check that out. I have a calculator.
Cause that was 500 years ago when he showed up the first time.
493 years.
Jeez, that's either he's early or now you say that actually maybe Hal didn't reincarnate as fast as some people think, because they make it sound like he was supposed to come back after a certain amount of time, and they weren't expecting him to be in this time period.
Mm-hmm.
The way they talk about him, they make it sound like he was supposed to come back at some point later. I don't know. Maybe that was just a number they threw out. Maybe they forgot. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, he's had him for like 3 years. He's had him for like 7 years resurrected.
Well, actually, he came out of the womb with this fire spirit, actually, and it looked different. I don't know why it looked different at that time, but it came out with him.
Hmm.
You see it in the very first episode when he gets born. Well, dang it, I shouldn't have said that.
That's okay, I missed it a little bit.
Okay, I think when I remember, it looks like he came out with it. But let's see here. Sad and upsetting to destroy her soul too. Makes sense since she could still talk with her and ups the ante. Oh yeah, when he kills Leora, which by the way, I wanna just say that I remember liking Shaman King, but I don't remember there being death in it. And her being the first actual death that we see on camera, it was very shocking.
It was sad because I really did kind of like her at that point. I was like, oh, she's really cool, and like she turned around and seemed reasonable and everything, and then they're just like,
yeah,
like,
that's what happens
when you destroy her, but they destroy her soul. And I was like, it was a really low moment in the series. I was just like, well, that's really, really upsetting.
Yeah, that was a very harsh death, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen a death where you just immediately disappear. Like, you don't even get a chance to come back in the series.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know if he really did burn her soul all the way. I feel like considering that the Patch tribe hold on to elemental spirits anyway, it almost seems like to me, like if they held on to a spirit that was that powerful, they'd find some ways to be able to make sure that even a Patch soldier can't be burnt all the way. Just to me, it just seems like they keep spirits like that around.
Yeah. I think it makes sense that they would want to destroy her spirit, because otherwise the shamans could come back and summon it and communicate with it. So it's like, unless the spirit is completely gone, it's not like the most effective thing to do. But that being said, I don't know, like it was just like really, really harsh. It's like it ups the ante if you don't have an afterlife.
Well, I mean, she in this show they make it there is an afterlife, so she was immediately removed from existence. But we can move on to episode 14. After that really harsh death, the first thing I see here on your notes is that another shaman who became a better person by knowing it. Oh, you talk about the crap. the what's his name? The dude who looks like a girl. Shoot. I should say androgynous is what he actually is, but yeah, I forgot his name. Are you referring to the patch? I forgot. Well, I don't know who you're referring to here. Was there another shaman who became a better person, knowing Yo? Connection between Yo and Hao. Yeah, they make obvious references to the fact that Yo and Hao are similar. The new shaman they introduced, who's got like a Sherlock Holmes vibe to him. Actually, he's showing that he has a bone to pick with Hao because he killed his parents. Which that was like, I can't believe that. Are you talking?
No, I'm here.
But no, it's kind of interesting that I guess they're.
Go ahead.
I can take you. No, I lost my train of thought. I was trying to pick it up, but I couldn't.
Who is his Vegeta, the guy with dark hair and green eyes and the spike on his head? Do you remember who that is?
Oh, you talking about Ren?
Yeah, Ren is another one that became a better person because of Yo. I really like that ability of his to like transform people and make them better people, and it seems like that's a common theme in anime, is that by knowing somebody you become a better person. Like you see that with Goku, you see that with My Hero Academia, that the lead hero just has this ability to make other people better people just by knowing them. So I guess that's kind of what I meant. Like I thought it was really cool the way he just sort of changes everybody he meets. Like literally so far, everybody he meets is like a little better for having known him. So it'll be interesting to see how that works with other people. You know what I mean? Like as he goes through and he meets a huge number of people throughout this, is he going to start changing them as well?
That's true. Well, I mean, yeah, I think for like Ren had always had that in him. It just, Ren had a really bad upbringing. It took knowing Yo for him to be able to live the way he wants.
Mm-hmm.
The new shaman, I forgot his name, but he's kind of like a Sherlock Holmes dude. I think he even lives in France. Well, he lived in France. It was actually interesting to see, okay, House actually killed somebody. And now somebody wants to come out for revenge. And it's a guy with a pendulum, like a dowsing ability, which is kind of cool. He said detective guy is a cool addition. Shows a gap in the team that was needed. What gap was that?
He's intelligent, he's inquisitive, he's like a thinker and an investigator, someone who's like stopping and observing things, keeping everybody mentally on their toes. Like you don't really have anybody like that. You've got like a lot of the characters in this right now are just kind of reactive. Like the guy with the pompadour is mostly reactive. The guy with the blue surfboard thing is like gets mad and responds to things. Like Ren does the same thing. Like they all get upset and react to things, but here we have someone that's like finally proactive. And Yo is just living in the moment, so he doesn't really count either. He lives completely in the moment. Everybody else kind of responds to the moment, and now we have somebody that can actually think ahead. And I just think it's great to have somebody that can actually think strategically and plan things out and reflect on things that have happened and observe and stuff like that, and not just be like, this guy's a jerk, let's get him, kind of like he's like he fleshes out the group really nicely, because they were sort of becoming a gang, I
mean, sometimes gangs can be a good thing. Moving on.
And gangs can be a good thing?
Yeah, I don't really mean that. But
that was not the greatest hill to climb on, dude, but okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not I'm getting down I'm getting off the hill.
All right, cool.
I was climbing it and I decided to climb back down.
I'm watching the hill burn right now, and I'm glad that you're not on there with it burning.
Sometimes it can be. I mean, they foster friendships with family that you honestly can't get. If you couldn't get them someplace else, sometimes they can be a good influence. But I guess we're as rounding down this episode as quickly as we started up. But yeah, I mean, his character's a good. I wish I knew his name. I was paying attention to that, and I definitely don't remember it now. I'm gonna find it out right now because he's apparently gonna be following the gang from here on out. I guess with him now they can find out where the Patch Tribe is.
Yeah, he should be able to guide them to that. I mean, he's got that
Oh,
super ability.
Lyserg, and he's from England.
He doesn't seem to be as strong as the others. I mean, he's definitely able to hold his own, but I have a feeling he's got a bit to learn. I don't think he's a big player in the battle sense.
I mean, we'll see. He has more control over his Furioki-ku than probably Rayo does at this point. But then Rayo's shown that he can just do the big thumb, which somehow immediately called one of his friends in the U.S. There are questions I have about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he seems to be useful. He also seems to be reactive, even though he says like, because he seems to have a big bone to pick with Hal. A very big bone to pick with him. But yeah, like I guess it's like the connection between Hal and Yo. You actually kind of see when like Yo is like saying, "I'm not gonna fight you because you hurt my friends. You're not gonna join me either." But as like you see this image of him like looking back at him as he says that, and you see that you overlay the image of Hal as he was looking at him as he killed his parents, and like they're very similar. It's like, what's going on here? Why are they so similar looking? Like if you didn't know any better, if Hal cut his hair and somebody came up on Hal first when they met Yo, like you get the wrong impression.
Right. Well, Pompadour guy cuts his hair every day. Has there been an episode where his hair hasn't gotten cut?
The episode where he went up to the shaman area with Manta, his hair didn't get cut there.
Yeah,
or did
they were
it?
establishing what his hair was supposed to look like then. I feel like the gag is that every episode he gets a haircut.
Or a girl's back and too fast, but yeah. I guess like what they want to actually end off on here with this is that even though Hal is shown to be not Yo's friend, Yo still says he's not a bad guy. He doesn't think anybody who can see spirits is all a bad guy. So makes me wonder, is like, is Hal really all that bad? You know, is his goal just makes him seem bad?
We got to get to know him first. We don't really know enough about him, so we'll have to figure that out first. I think we could certainly learn something about him. It's funny how like just knowing a little bit about them makes you just empathy. Just getting to know somebody like usually makes you start making excuses for some of them.
Well, I mean, it just depends, because some of them like they do evil things because they had to. Like Ren, for instance. Like Ren, it doesn't excuse all the people he's killed, but it makes you feel sorry that, you know, he couldn't. He you know, like at the same time, it's like he was doing it because his father was telling him to. You don't disobey your parents at that age. You just don't. You don't have the ability to think on your own, to think that this is wrong. It took Ren meeting Yo to start thinking for himself. Like Yo is like the you know, this is how I could be versus how I actually am. And it also shows that, you know, Ren had this part of him in there anyway. Because I mean, his sister said that, you know, he is also carefree, but it's because of you why he can't live the way he wants. And it seems like he quit the killing pretty quickly, which is actually kind of shocking too.
Well, I mean, sometimes when you break through, you really break through. I get that.
But I think that's about it. I can't really think of much else. I mean, I'm interested in the whole situation between Hal and Yo. I want to see more about that.
I think that's going to be the point of the next part of this whole series, don't you?
Of figuring out the connection between Hal and Yo. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they're obviously kind of a yin-yang kind of relationship with each other.
There's something I know about these two, but I don't know how much of what I know is because of the redacted Shaman King show from early 2000s that was wrong, and what was actually happening in the manga. So I'm a little bit in the dark, but at the same time, there's something I do know that I kind of want to see how they play it out before I say what it is that I think I know, and hopefully it'll come in the next 10 episodes. That way I can say what I knew already. Um, as for how the show ends, I don't know because the way the show ended before was not an ending. But yeah, well, I guess we'll get to that point when they get to that point because this is supposed to have 60 some episodes, I think. So I think Shaman King's already up to 20, so we got 40 or more. So I suspect the show's gonna go into like late next year. I suspect, as long as there's no breaks. Well, more than the ones they already had, but this is anime. They're gonna have another break at some point. But I guess with that, we're gonna switch gears and we're gonna switch it back to My Hero Academia. That's probably what most people are here to listen to us talk about and blather about. And the episode for My Hero Academia this week is called Revival Party. And we get more action with our favorite villains of the series. I guess favorite villains. I guess we're gonna start out with something else I got here. Apparently, the very beginning episode they talk about how when powers first started showing up. And I think you brought this up last time. We were talking about this too, about powers showing up and with the way the world was like. We get a little bit of insight about what happened, and it makes sense. You know, the world. First of all, the world was running normally until the first quirk showed up, and we found out that the world started like going upside down with people wanting to use their powers whenever they wanted to, which caused a lot of problems to the point where powers had to start being maintained and banned, so much to the point where a matter of liberation movement started happening where people wanted to use their powers freely because it was part of their personality and part of their self-expression, which is, funnily enough, kind of like the entire episode's message is self-expression. We get a little bit of that with our backstory with Toga Himiko. We'll get to that in a minute. I also want to say that I want to also correct something that I was 100% certain it was last time I reviewed this. Destro had a kid, and that's who that character is that I assume was Destro. It didn't even dawn on me that it's possible that he had a kid.
Why not?
I really don't know. I just didn't think about it. Like a lot of times films, they never bring up if they have a lover in the background, but I guess why would they? You know, they're a villain. But it just seems kind of weird to me. Well, not weird. It just seems like I didn't think that he could have had a kid. That should have been an option on the table, but it wasn't. So,
it seems like it makes perfect sense to me that he might have a kid.
I just didn't think he had a kid. I just didn't like. They don't. I guess they don't. Like I said before, they don't have to mention he had a lover, but it just like. It just seems kind of weird. Well, not weird. It just like. I guess it still astonishes me that he did. But I guess another thing that astonishes me is that he committed suicide in jail for finding out he even had a kid. So
I think this is a you thing, sir.
Moving back on what I was saying,
I think this is like one of those things where you get hung up a little bit.
This is not the motorcycle. How dare you?
It's a kid. Like, it's not like it's Palpatine with a kid. Like, it's perfectly sensible that this guy that we barely know anything about could potentially have a kid.
I'm saying just like, I mean, I guess it's like I didn't think a woman could love this guy, but then again, why?
Why not? I mean, some of the most horrible people in the world. Genghis Khan had so many people that he raped that I forget what percentages is, but there's like a significant percentage of the Earth's population that is blood related to Genghis Khan.
Yeah, I heard that. That this still seems unbelievable, but I mean, if you've done that much with these women, you probably would have a piece of your blood in every single person in the world. Oof. But
5.5% of the male population of the world He has 16 million descendants living today. 8% of the men living in the former region of the Mongol Empire.
Jeez, that's just crazy.
If Genghis Khan can have 16 million descendants, this dude can have one.
I'm not saying he's not allowed to have a kid. I'm just saying that, like, it just seemed kind of like, to me, out of nowhere that. But then again, that's the point. We're going to move on from it. I mean, like, he's here. At least I got confirmation about who this guy was. I was under the assumption that he was Destro. He's not. He's the son of Destro, and his name is Re-Destro. Obviously, his name is Destroy. So, Re-Destroy, I'm guessing, is what they're going with there. It's kind of like how, like, they got people who's the neo-Nazi party out there. This is kind of like what this is.
It's the literal worst. Let's face it.
But we learned a little bit more about the past. We learned about the history of the Liberation Party, and like it got dissolved after Destro got killed. Well, after Destro got caught and killed himself, which he wrote the book that is circulating right now, which is interesting. I didn't even think about that. So there's a lot of things here that I didn't think about that contain the Destro. What's interesting, that even after his death, he still had this much of an impact, so much to the point that his own prodigy is now leading the effort to liberate all metahumans.
Well, it makes sense that he would be at the head of it, right?
Yeah, but it makes it seem like, to me, if I was him, I was like, my father left me alone, but then he died. How dare he? I'm not gonna run his just pipe dream.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe this is his way of being closer to him, which is like what I'm rationalizing it as.
He can't just be fanatic too.
Well, I want to hope that it's really he just wants to be close to his father, and not that he's just a fanatic.
I mean, think about it. Like, this is exactly how My Hero Academia works. Everybody has like somebody carrying on the flame for them. Like, the whole theme of this entire show is like the old and their like the person carrying on the flame. Whether it's All Might or One for All or this group, like, I'm sorry, All for One or this group, like, it's exactly how this stuff goes.
Yeah, okay, now we are actually here at present time with Shigaraki and his group as they go to Denka City before it gets destroyed, as we see in the first episode of this arc. Shigaraki nude and all the rubble. I guess we'll eventually get to how he gets to that point. But they're going to meet with the Liberation Army. Apparently, Dabi's back to helping them. He was gone for a while. Apparently, as they're walking through about to walk into the town, Sliding Go shows up, and we find out that he's apparently a part of the Metal Liberation Army. So one of the metahumans is a part of the Metal Liberation Army. It seems like such a random character to do that with, but I guess because he's not all that important that they can. I want to bring it to this. Actually, as Shigaraki is walking through the town, you see this one hero on the roof.
Just kind of looking like epic. Yeah, I love that.
He looks like a Kamen Rider.
A what?
Kamen Rider. It's another Japanese thing. It's like they got the Power Rangers, but it's like metal suits, and there's usually 3 of them. That's what he reminded me of. He reminded me of a Kamen Rider. If you want, you can look it up. But
okay.
Also could be Big Bad Beetleborgs, but at the same time, he reminded me of a Power Ranger. It's what he reminded me of, and I kept on thinking about it as I was looking at him. But as we get past that point, they get cut off by meeting with Hanabata, who's a representative of the Hearts and Minds Party. We've seen him a couple of times already, and I think he's probably the money behind the operation. He looks like that type of sleazy dude who would who float his money around and support the people that help him out. And they get into a little kerfuffle, and Twice is asking about.
Did you say kerfuffle?
Yes, I said the word kerfuffle.
That's awesome. A kerfuffle. Not even a kerfluffle, a kerfuffle.
But they're like we find out there's apparently 180,000 people who have powers who are in this one place, and they're all jumping. They're all jumping the the League of Villains here, and it seems like they're really dangerous because they've been training.
They're 90% heroes, which means they're 90% meta powers, which means that there's still 10% there that don't. Like, why would they specify that? I'm really curious. Like,
because you got some meta sympathizers out there who don't have powers, but they understand.
But I wonder what they do in this town, like what their function is.
They're probably either keeping the town going with normal jobs, or they are some of the people who are the living bombs.
That would be disappointing, but it's definitely possible. That's a good use for them in a really grim kind of way.
But they can't do much against the metahumans. They're just gonna die anyway. They might as well die on their own terms. That's the way I'm looking at it. Like, if they can die for a good cause and it's on their terms, then it's not disappointing at all. It's the best way that they can be used because they don't have powers.
And from their perspective, they probably never met a human they didn't like,
Was that on purpose?
Yeah. Don't hang up.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just gonna keep sighing for the next couple seconds. But I almost wish I thought about hanging up. But we found out later on that some of the metahumans are actually bombs as well, because the main focus is going to be the reporter chick talking with Himiko, and we learn a little bit. We're going to learn a little bit more about her, but before apparently we learn more about her, we flash back over to Redestro and Giran, Twice's friend, and he brings up the fact that if they let the bioengineer Nomus out free, they would win. But according to Redestro, he's positive that they can't for 3 reasons.
Number 1
is that the Nomu that they released during the first attack, I think they caught him and they don't know where he is right now, or he's a rumor still. Nobody knows about that guy. 2 is the other Nomu that the Endeavor fought. They were more concerned about the white Nomus, but they became rumors because they weren't as important because they weren't that strong. Which actually does bring up a point, because Hawk's going to take down a couple of them by himself, even though he's not a power type. And also the Black Nomu that the Endeavor burnt. Apparently, I forgot about this, but I guess that's what Dabi was there for. I thought Dabi was there to attack Endeavor, but I guess he was there to collect whatever was left of that high-end Nomu, which makes me wonder if he's still around.
Which I thought was interesting, because one of the things he was consulted with was not wasting his pawns. It was like something that was cited as like one of his problems, and I thought that it was interesting that he's being disrespected by this guy and criticized for the exact type of thing that he was told to improve on, because like that's exactly the kind of behavior that they wanted him to take on, and it's exactly the kind of thing that they're like, oh well, he can't be in that great a position if he's picking up his pawns, but like wasting his pawns was the big thing that he was like criticized for before. So I thought that was a really interesting little.
Well, I mean, he's positive that they're limited, because I have Nomus are limited, but based on what we saw in that laboratory, granted, now he doesn't have access to those Nomus yet, but they're like at least a little to be 20 in there.
Right.
Based on Nomus,
I didn't think that was like the greatest sign that they were weak. Like I thought that was smart to pick up your good. If they didn't lose anything, it sounded more like he thought that the reason that they weren't able to, that they needed the Nomus, like the big sign of weakness was that they sent Dabi to pick up the Nomu, but Nomus are kind of mindless, and that one didn't do the job already. So like it makes sense to send someone a little bit better to go grab him. Someone you can.
I think that's a sign they don't. It's not that they don't respect them. It's more they don't because Dabi is such a random agent. He's actually the only guy amongst all the League of Villains anyway who can operate on his own. At least given the opportunity to operate on his own. Because Dabi went by himself, and I guess this probably because Dabi was there by himself.
But he pulled it off. It was a good use of the work. Like That's all they needed to send. I just didn't think that
I
that was
think
the
that I
goal.
think what it is it's one of those whole like because they're green, wet behind the ears. They're not gonna like they're looking down on them. But as this
Yeah.
episode keeps on going, we're seeing that they shouldn't look down on any of these people because they're easily gonna overtake them anyway. As we're already seeing that it looks like they were losing, but as the episode goes on, we're seeing that they all have received a power up. But well, the ones we see that were fighting. But we also find out that apparently the heroes here that are part of the organization are quite strong too in their own way. That they've been training to strengthen their quirk and whatnot. Some of them are kind of silly though, but some of them are kind of interesting. The Soup Man was just kind of silly though. I didn't see him just now.
The Superman guy I hate. I feel like I'm supposed to hate him, but I hate him.
The guy with flame hands.
Did you think it was interesting that some of them had multiple quirks?
They didn't have multiple quirks.
Yeah, the reporter woman could turn things into explode things, but she also had that ability to turn her hand.
No, that was a
into
ring. That was like an equipment piece. That's what
a
that was.
magic ring.
Yeah.
There was somebody else there too that I thought had more than one quirk, and I can't think of who it was now. But there was another person where they did something, and I thought it struck me as a second quirk. Are you sure that she was using a ring?
Yeah, she even says it's like a ring or something.
She had announced it, but it sounded like she was just announcing her attack, like, you know.
One of the things she said was an attack, but the other one was like a block. Cause like she has her hand like in her jacket by her side, like covered up,
Yeah.
and that looks like the hand that she used. And plus, whenever she had the brick form around her, she pointed at Toga, and they still exploded.
I
So,
wish I could remember. There was another person in there that had two powers too. And I got the impression, because she said that they imbued me with powers, like I got the impression that there was something going on where you could have more than one power in this group. I
I
also
doubt
thought
it. I
there
doubt
was
that there's
something
somebody
else
here that can give them multiple abilities.
there was also, I mean, there's certainly some other stuff going on too, because like um everybody there just mysteriously had amplified powers just for being there, so there was something else going on as
They
well.
were training, is what she said. They were training every day to strengthen their quirk, is what was actually
No,
happening
no,
there.
no, 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 no. Like disintegrating more than one person at a time. Dobby's like extra big
Oh
fire.
no, they were just getting a power up. Is what was. Well, I mean, I think they even said that
Toga,
they got a power
Toga
up in the
being
middle of
able
that.
to use Uraraki's ability and not just shape change like she was supposed to. That they mention it overtly too. That like they have more power here. They like I feel like I have more power here. That Dobby says before he unleashes his ridiculous amount of fire. I got the impression, and then Spinner was surprised when more than one person got decayed when he didn't even touch them. It sounded like it wasn't. It was something about being in that town that gave them more power, not just something they like were hiding.
The way they made it sound like they had a power up in the middle of a fight, which is not uncommon with meta abilities. Like when she,
It's not uncommon, but they were surprised by it too, and
yeah, I mean, like
I'm
you don't like.
pretty sure that was a plot point, not just a mistake.
I'm not saying it's a mistake. I'm just saying that like I feel like that it was just a random power up that happened. Because like I mean, how
I
how
don't
are you
think
gonna
so. Not
how
with
are you gonna
everybody
power up
else.
the villains when we're not spending every day with the villains like we are with everybody else? There
No,
is only
that
there's only
I'm
there's only one way
almost
to do it.
positive. I'm willing to bet you money that that was more than just a random power up.
But here's the thing though. If it's just where they are, that means they won't have this ability. They won't have this power outside. They're not gonna
Right.
be.
I
If
think
they need to have this ability to at least be able to take on Deku at the very least.
these powers that they have, I think that they're I think what it is there's something in that town that's amplifying their power. Like either someone's quirk is doing it or they found some sort of science that amplifies abilities or something like that. But I think there's which would be in keeping with what they do there because they have they've been working on how to amplify powers anyway, you know. So it
I
makes
don't know. I
sense that
would
maybe that
prefer
would
it was just a natural progression of their quirk because they are still young anyway. I mean, none of them. Like I think Toga might be the youngest one there. Actually, yeah. That's just kind of odd now I think about that.
Hmm. So there's something going on with that. It's not just like bad writing.
I mean, wait, so you consider them randomly have a power up as bad writing?
I consider an unexplained power up that everybody seems, including the people that have it, seems surprised by bad writing. Yes, but I don't think
I don't. I
that's
mean, here's the thing. Like, we don't spend every day with the villains though. So like, I mean, like a natural progression of them getting stronger wouldn't actually be feasible.
yeah, but they themselves, like Dobby said, I feel more powerful here, and then like unleashed flames and like took out the room. Like he said, I feel more powerful here. You know, like he.
I don't think he said did he use the word here? Wait a minute. Let me go and see. As I get past all this creepiness with Toga, we'll get back to that in a minute.
Hang on.
Because a power up for Toga and being able to use the quirks that she's.
Ice, huh? 1835. To be able to handle your presence so well with that large body. I think I've gotten a little stronger too. I become able to tell. You're probably strong. Blue Flame user Dobby. The only person we okay, and then they start fighting. You're right, he didn't use the word here, but I got a very strong impression, for example, by how surprised Spinner was that he could decay multiple people at the same time, how surprised they were that she was able to copy powers, not just forms. It just looks like to me having this all happen at once the way it is, and like how Dobby didn't try to use this in the previous episode. Like it just seems to me like there's more going on here.
Well, Davi hasn't really been here. He's been elsewhere. Even the
But
episodes that he.
Dobby took a shot at him last episode and it didn't work, and then he's like, "Oh well, I give up." But he didn't take as big a shot as he took now. Like it was a smaller scale attack. Like he wasn't quite this powerful.
He could have just been holding back. There is such a thing as like, I mean, I know he's a villain, and a villain wouldn't theoretically be holding back, but at the same time, we don't really know his characters on like a personal level anyway.
Actually, I had him over for lunch yesterday.
But you have hot tamales, but
No, as a matter of fact, I offered him something like that, and he was kind of ticked off at me. He actually likes ice cream, believe it or not.
that seems odd.
Yeah, and he's a vegetarian.
Okay, now I really just don't believe you.
I was like, "Why are you a vegetarian? You kill everything you see." And he was like, "I don't know, I just don't like meat." And I was like, "All right, dude, you know." And then we offered him something else, and it's fine. But like, I don't know. He's also a very funny drunk. If you get him drunk, he's like the funniest person you've ever met.
Okay, that I could believe. Uh,
What?
as we go back to the before this, um, the next bit is gonna be mostly talking about Himiko Toga and her past. There's not a lot explored with her, but we do figure where she came from.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they bring up this before when they first introduced Toga. I forgot about this, but there's like a headline that says serial blood loss deaths, and they bring up
Serial
Himiko
what?
Toga. Serial blood loss deaths is what they say specifically.
Okay.
She's been killing people by sucking their blood, which is what her power typically is she takes the blood in. Because I want to bring up to as I was watching this with her involved in it. Like I remember sometimes like normally in fantasy worlds like this where powers are everywhere, normally you stumble upon your ability accidentally. Um, how do you stumble upon it when you drink somebody's blood? Do you turn into them? That doesn't seem like something you accidentally do. Uh,
Maybe she saw the blood and like got really drawn to it because it said she always had a weird association with blood anyway.
yeah, I was thinking maybe her quirk is is responsible for her personality.
I was
Uh,
thinking that they just actually went well together. You know what I mean? She had an obsession with blood that could have not been connected to her quirk, but maybe if she wasn't a psychopath, she wouldn't have even discovered it really in the first place.
well, I mean, why did she go mad? Because he asked all these questions. This news report lady is asking all these questions about like I write important for backstory question mark the question mark question mark.
Right.
So that's what I That's what I wrote down. We come back to her after we found out the
Did
lady
you
has.
find that you were feeling kind of sorry for her in this episode? As much of a psychopath as she was, I felt like when she was really bullied
But
in
here's
this
the. I
episode.
mean, we'll get to that because I was like, because I bring up at the very beginning of this that I say that like this episode's kind of about how like self, um, being able to express yourself, and it seems like here she wasn't able to. Her parents told her that she was psycho for even being herself, which was even ruder to me. Um, like she's the oldest daughter of the Toga family, which means she has a sibling someplace that we don't haven't seen, and that's disturbing. She also disappeared after her middle school graduation, which was interesting. She's 17, so she had disappeared at least 3 years ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been gone for a little bit.
So
Apparently,
she's
like
20 now.
they make it seem like her personality with the drastic change, but as we just described, she kind of seemed this way from birth. Well, not birth, but when she was able to use her quirk or something like that, she had this because she apparently grinned creepily. Which I will say, I will admit that when she does grin, fully grin, when she bares her fangs, she looks increasingly creepy.
She does, and you can see that that's why she put a mask on to look more normal throughout her life, and that's the symbolism where the mask cracks and falls off, which was a nice parallel to the mask cracking and falling off when she loses the Uraraka skin that she kind of took on. Like you see the same thing as that black and white mask cracking and falling off in the symbolic like meta meta plot kind of.
Oh, speaking of Uraraka, and it sort of has nothing to really do with Uraraka, but in her past, when she's talking about love, you see that guy in the background, like that. Like I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but he looks like Deku. But I did the math and it couldn't be him. But I don't know who that is. But he he seems similar, like to him looks wise. Anyway,
It could be why she fell for Deku if there was a similar looking guy in her past.
it just seems kind of weird that if all the people they could have shown that had any purpose in her life, not her parents, was some random dude who looks like Deku. I just kind of found that interesting.
I'm sure that there's going to be, if that's the case, I don't remember that scene, but if that's the case, that missable detail that you picked up is probably going to be relevant because this series likes to drop little hints in that way.
Yeah, she had a straw in the blood and Sato's. Oh, geez, so that was like the kid that she, I guess, killed. They say that like, oh, this is when she was. So the male student was 15, so this must be when she was 15. So this is probably 2 years ago, actually. Tucker was always smiling and sociable. I still can't believe it. But yeah, like that. One of the things about self-expression, she wasn't able to express herself because anytime she was expressing herself, she was creepy. Um, like none of her classmates really were around her. And then you see like her parents said that she was always a nice girl and whatnot. But we find out later on from Tucker's perspective, her parents told her to like, you know, not be like that and stuff like that. She found a dead bird cute that was blood. They called her a demon child. So yeah, she was kind of bullied from her parents, but nobody knew it. And she
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, and on top of that, she said after everything, she started running. She was chased by heroes and police alike. But the only time she was ever, you know, man, that creepy. Her real face is creepy. That's gonna come back at some point. But but the only time she was ever left alone was she pretended to be a high school girl, which was interesting wording there. So I guess it explains why she's in a high school suit. Because I thought in a high school girl's uniform. 'Cause I thought that was odd. Considering how psycho she is, it's like, are they trying to do the whole like psycho schoolgirl thing with her? But I'm guessing that's not all what they're doing with her. I guess it's
Yeah,
going
I
on to
think
the
that's
whole
more
like.
about her attempt to look normal, and she's like, "Well, this is what normal people wear," and she puts that on.
I think she was more just trying to hide. Yeah, I mean, yeah, hide in the sea of faces because they didn't bother her when she looked like that. So I
Mm.
like that he bring attention to her actual outside appearance. But
Well,
yeah,
especially
it's
because she changes it. You know what I mean? So they bring all your
that
attention to it, and then
that's true.
she changes it, and then the woman's wonderful, wonderful. You just want to die looking cute, you know.
Yeah, at the same time, yeah, I would say I kind of felt bad for her, but at the same time, it's very difficult to stay like that when you realize what she Detronet's patented chain ring.
What?
So that black thing you saw around her hand, it was a patented chain ring.
A chain ring?
Is what she calls it. Is Detnet Rat's patented chain ring.
Oh, I didn't know if that was like the name of the quirk or not. But yeah, now that you say it like that, I guess it's probably support items.
But then she blocks with it, and then she attacks with it, and she calls that attack Curious Flattener, which seems
Right,
really
and
weird. But that's the
it seemed, especially because she named it after herself. You know what I mean? Like curious. So it seemed weird. It seemed like it might have been a different quirk, but now I don't know based on the way you said that just now. But
I don't think it's another quirk. I think it's just support out because she says anything she touches turns into a bomb, and unfortunately, it's not lethal. Well, I say unfortunately, but fortunately, it's not lethal.
wow, you're really striking out today. Liking bomb comments, racist comments, and the Shaman King stuff with the tomahawk.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
I'm
Can we
just
just
saying,
can we
it's
just
quite a
leave that
strikeout.
alone? I
Quite a
apologized for that one.
strikeout.
Can we just move? Man, if I ever wanted to ostracize our podcast, like I did it there with that comment.
I'm usually the awkward one, is all I'm saying. Like in this episode, you've been the awkward one. I even
I
tried
kind
to
of,
be the awkward one at the beginning when I was like talking over you and stuff, and you shone through as the awkward one today.
but as the girl, as the reporter is calling her like a fortunate, Toga takes offense to that, and it's kind of interesting too, considering what her life has been like. She still is gonna be herself, which is kind of interesting. Kind of shows the kind of personality she has, even though she's had this very messed up life with her parents.
Yeah.
She changes into Uraraka, which we bring up before, uh, and I guess it's kind of like her like trying to look normal in a really weird way, but it's kind of interesting
For what
because
it's
I think she
worth,
chose
too, she said that
Uraraka.
was her. For what it's worth, too, she did point out overtly that that's her last dose of that.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
now
I
we
picked up
know.
on that too. It
Now
probably
we
was.
know that Uraraka is Uraraka in the future. So if we see her doing something, we know it's her and not like. I mean, because everybody at this point is like a Toga suspect, but now we know at least Uraraka. You know what I mean? Is going to be okay that
Well, at least until she steals more blood.
she has no more Uraraka blood, but she had like I don't know, she had like something like a dozen compartments there with other blood, so she can probably become a lot of other people still.
Until she steals more Uraraka blood, then we'll have to question everything.
What?
Until she steals more Uraraka blood, then we'll have to question everything.
Mm.
It's kind of funny how quick. They even bring it to like even though she's a serial killer, like she has thing she's able to do things that normal serial killers can't do. So it's like interesting too. I wonder where like she must have disappeared to do all that, to learn all that, and then come back into the limelight.
I just thought she maybe learned that at the league, but you're right. I mean, the group, the villain she's with must have trained her a little bit.
But I don't think that. I mean, I think she had those abilities before she was with the group. Not saying she didn't get better with them, but I think like they bring up that it seems odd. Like even like when Deku's talking with her when she's pretending to be Camille or Cammy, but then
Yeah,
pretending to be Uraraka. He asked the school about like how she was able to do some of the things she was doing, and they mentioned that the school doesn't train them to do the things that she was doing. So it's like he could have easily have been the league. Who knows? But I was just thinking that maybe she used someplace else, and maybe we're gonna learn more about her past at some point too. Because like there's a couple years that they're not accounted for, and they focus hardcore on her too in this episode. I think more so than they ever did in the past. Kind of making her a deeper character in some sense. But yeah, she learns that she can actually use the quirk of the person that she has, which kind of makes me wonder if she still got Izuku's blood, because if she does, that's going to be a problem.
hmm
Uh, Woo!
Did you get the feeling that when she turned into Uraraka, like she had um new endurance, or do you think that that was still the injured body underneath? It
I
looked
think it
like
was
the
still
injured
her
body
injured
underneath, but
body.
it was interesting that like she had like a shell of Uraraka over her, but it wasn't like a genuine shape change.
I mean, when she put that on, you can see that even in like her face was still like. I mean, it was pristine, but her you can still see that she was still like fatigued a little bit. It wasn't like put that face on and she was immediately rejuvenated because she
Yeah.
was trying to freaking get away and she didn't even know she could make things float. Which brings another point that Uraka's ability can kill people. I mean, I guess it makes sense because she can make them float, but geez, kind of puts on crazy. It's like, geez, Uraka's power is kind of dangerous. Uh, But Tuck ends up getting away after all that, and I guess she kills the reporter from the way she makes it seem. Um, we also cut away to Shigaraki, who is like, I guess, tired from being chased by a bunch of heroes. You know, they weren't that close, but I guess I think he was tired from his fighting with Gigacha and Machia. But
Mhm.
you see that the thing that you brought up, you know, Shigaraki ends up decaying a group of heroes from touching one face.
Yeah, and they all completely get knocked out. And like along with that, like Shigaraki like was like half passed out as it was. He was so tired and like at the edge of his rope. So because he just gone through a huge battle mode with the big guy, and like now he was trying to like this was his sleep time, like his very precious 3 hours of sleep. And I don't know.
I still feel like it was one of those random power up situations that happened. Um, it was the only way that we could get a power up for these guys. You know, legitimately, because we're not going to be spending time with these. I'm going to spend more time with them than we ever spent with them in the past. But
Yeah.
to me, now if it is definitely just the area, they kind of I'm actually kind of upset about that because like that means that I don't know. Granted, the doctor did say that he has a power up for them earlier in during this entire situation, but they weren't ready for it. So I don't know. When you said that it could have been the area, maybe it's him because he is listening to all this because he's got that earpiece in Shigaraki's ear. He could be doing something entirely we don't know about yet.
That's a good point. Compression Man didn't seem like he had any power up. Did you get that impression?
No, but that's because he hasn't been using his quirk. He's been sitting there. As you bring him up, I was looking at the scene where he was just standing, uh,
I
just
think I
accounting
saw
for
him like
everybody.
dive out of the way of a few guys at one point, and that was like all he did. Maybe he'll do a lot more next episode or something, but Compression Man didn't seem very useful so far.
There was a couple of people who didn't do anything, like Twice, for instance, who Twice ran away to go and find Toga and
Well,
never
we know
having.
Twice is going to be important next episode, and we also kind of know that he's going to get captured by the preview. It's interesting that they seem like they want to capture Twice
Yeah, they
in
do.
terms of
They
like
bring up
their.
that it's gonna be Twice's quirk is gonna be the way that Redestro attains immortality.
Yeah, I hope he
They,
knows what he's doing.
they don't.
I don't think Twice's ability works that way unless they figure out some way to amplify it or something.
I will find out if it gets amplified because everybody has an amplified power at this point, so I don't know what kind of amplification it's gonna do to Twice. I can't foresee that being a good thing because one of the main reasons why Twice wears that bodysuit is because his other copies go out to kill him. Um, and also I want to bring up too that interesting about that I didn't really think about this when it happened, but there is this like very weird myth about doppelgangers, and it's usually that the theory is that everybody has a double, but it's really bad to see that double because the moment you do, it sends the doppelganger into a frenzy to kill you.
Hmm.
So it's interesting that we found out that Twice's doubles go out of their way to try to kill him, and it's one of the reasons why he's been ostracized from the world because his power is just uncontrollable, and why he's afraid of it, and which is why he keeps that mask and bodysuit on because it nearly killed him before in the past.
Right.
But
Yeah, the first thing they do in the preview is rip his off, so he's done.
I love the point that when Twice is like talking, he's upset and he's like he's trying to like save her from dying. We have this. It's really weird because he's trying to have this character's trying to have this very meaningful moment with Toga, but because he's had multiple personalities, he's arguing with himself and he's just saying random stuff. And it's meant to be it's meant to be a heartfelt moment, but it's really hard not to laugh when he's like, I don't know why this is so hot. Why is it so hot? Because there's so much blood around here. Like, shut up. Like, I'm just sitting here like, this is so odd because it kind of takes me out of it. Because um, I wrote down here, which is well, actually I'll bring up too. Shigaraki memories come back and it involve Nana a little bit. Um, so we're seeing that Shigaraki is getting some of his memories back slowly.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is after the shock treatment or before, but I think it's before. Um, Speaking of Twice, I write down here, the last thing I write down here is Twice is crazier this episode. Um, which I don't know if you picked up on, but it seemed like Twice was a little more spastic this episode than normal.
Well, he's there's a lot of reasons to have high emotions here.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wrote that down because it seems kind of odd. Like he's normally crazy, but like this episode he seemed crazier than normal,
He loves Toga, and it's clear that he's in love with Toga.
which is horrible because I think he's 30 something and she's 17.
I thought she was 20. She was 17, and then you said it's been at least 3 years.
No, when she disappeared in middle school, and I think it's been 3 years because she's 17 right now, is what they say in the episode.
I don't know.
I,
What's the age of consent in Japan? Maybe
I
check
think
the
it's
age.
16.
13.
Oh dear.
Okay. So,
Okay, she was legal already. Never mind. Okay. Uh, dang it, Japan.
sorry.
No, it's not your
um,
fault. I should have known this.
well, anyway, so it's not wrong in Japan by 4 years.
Dang it, Japan. Dang it, Japan. Somewhere in the deep of my mind too, I knew this. I'm just hating myself right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. Okay, well, the episode ends with the love rug. I guess I don't know. I don't know anymore. I think my worldview's just been ruined again.
Sorry. Did I just ruin everything for you?
No, I think I already, like I said before, I think I already knew this. I just didn't want to believe it. But I guess with that,
Took me off guard. That's all I'm saying.
hmm?
That took me off guard. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, yeah, Twice is in love with her.
But yeah, I mean that was obvious. I mean, he goes out of this and "You're the only one that needed me." I was like, okay, obviously he's in love with her. I don't know if she feels the same way back to him, but maybe we'll find out if he survives. Well, I mean, who knows what happens to him in this episode, in this next episode. But
Not me.
because I don't know if like, because like they make it sound like I don't know because like not Dobby, but Twice isn't the type of guy that would cooperate with you, especially if you're trying to use him just for his quirk. You know, you've already taken his best friend, the only best friend he actually had, and took his fingers off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think Twice would be cooperating. So I almost feel like maybe in order to get him, because who knows how I don't know how his quirk works beyond death. If it does work beyond death, if that's what they gotta do to kill him. Um, because I don't even know. Like, his quirk's kind of weird because like it sounds like he makes doubles without really wanting to make doubles. Um, it sounds like he has multiple personalities in his own brain that all come out and say things. Uh, Twice is such a weird character. And on top of that, too, you even see him make a facial expression underneath his mask. It's very detailed. This is something I thought you would actually be seeing.
Right.
But he can be very expressive even underneath the mask. That's kind of Deadpool's shtick too. Is like Deadpool's very expressive even underneath the mask.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised by that. I mean, he's also physically expressive, throwing his hands in the air and stuff like that. He's constantly in motion. The other characters don't really do that to that degree at all.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. Uh, I guess with that, that's the end of everything. I don't think we have much more to say. Next week, we're gonna come back for another review, and we'll assess things from there for the remainder of the month. Thank you guys for watching, and everybody who actually decides to listen to us ramble on about anime. Thank you for that. Uh, talk to you guys later.